My name is Charles Countryman. I'm the founder of Equipment Broker Academy. I'm going to briefly explain what an equipment broker and brokering and auctioning heavy used equipment could do for you and your family. And if you're unfamiliar with what an equipment broker is, it's very similar to a realtor. A realtor sells a house on behalf of the seller, utilizing a consignment agreement. The realtor does not own the house. The realtor did not build the house. In fact, the realtor typically does not know how to build or remodel a house. None of that stops them from selling the house for the seller that doesn't want to sell their house. They don't have the skill set, they don't have the time, they don't have the resources. Brokering and auctioning equipment, very similar to that. You're going to sell a piece of used heavy equipment, a bulldozer, an excavator, a backhoe, on behalf of your seller because he's busy running his business on a day-to-day basis. And you're going to utilize consignment agreements to do so. Our course teaches you how to find those sellers and how to find that equipment, and we provide you all the resources, the downloadable forms, the consignment agreements, the auction agreements, everything that you need to know to start your own equipment broker and online auction company so you can make over $100,000 a year if you implement and follow our program and our systems. Now, there are a couple mistakes that a lot of equipment brokers make in this market, and the biggest mistake is they only generate revenue from one source of income. It's kind of silly when you think about it because there's actually 3 potential sources of revenue from the same seller, your same client. Now, you might be thinking real quick, I don't have any equipment experience. I don't know how to run equipment. I don't know how to operate it. I don't know anything about it. You do not need to be an equipment operator or a mechanic to be very successful in this industry. Some of the top salesmen for some of the top auction companies in the country, one of them used to be a cosmetics salesman, literally a makeup salesman. And he's an incredibly successful sales rep for one of the world's largest auction companies. So you don't need to be an equipment expert. You're not running the equipment, just like a realtor didn't build the house. You're not operating the equipment. We teach you what you do need to know to be good at your new profession and to be very successful. So the average broker just brokers equipment. And what I mean by that is they just retail it on behalf of their seller. So they're finding a retail buyer for that piece of equipment and selling it at full retail value. What we show you how to do is do that, but also generate 2 more sources of revenue from that seller. And the reason is not all sellers have the same needs and same desires. And when you pigeon yourself into only one option, you limit yourself on what you're able to do for your sellers in order to fulfill what their needs are for their company. We teach you how to retail, how to wholesale, and how to auction equipment. Now, when you retail a piece of equipment, a bulldozer, an excavator for your client, your average commission that you're going to earn, your average income that you're going to earn selling that piece of equipment for your client is between $2,700 and $4,500 per sale. Some of you watching this, $4,500 might be more than you make in a month right now, and that's just one single sale. You should have a sale or 2 under your belt by the second month. The first month, you're learning. You're not going to leave your job. You're spending a couple weeks going through our course and our training, and then you start consigning equipment and advertising it and getting the buyers to call you. So it's typically your second month when you get your first sales, and our average student has 1 to 3 sales their first month. If you only had 2 at the minimum of $2,700, that's $5,400 in income you could generate for yourself just selling 2 units. Now, of course, once in a while you could sell something for less than $2,700. You might only make $1,300, but once in a while you'll sell something that you make $5,000, $7,000, $8,000, or $10,000 or more dollars. But the average day in, day out, $2,700 to $4,500. So if you sold 2 a month, right there at the minimum, that's $5,400 a month. That's over $60,000 a year. We also teach you how to wholesale your units. Now, not all of your sellers will want you to wholesale their units. Some of your sellers will have you wholesale a couple, retail most, and auction once in a while. Some of your sellers will never have you auction, only have you wholesale. It'll be a conglomerate or a mixture of all 3 of those, and by us showing you our course training you how to do all 3 of those, you give your seller the ability, the options to pick and choose and work with your seller to give him the best solution to what he's trying to achieve with his equipment. When you wholesale, your average is $1,800 to $3,000 on average. Of course, you will occasionally have a unit that you sell that you earn less, and you'll have a unit that you sell that you earn more. But day in, day out, your average earnings when you wholesale a unit for your client is $1,800 to $3,000. If you sold just 2 at $1,800, that's $3,600 in a month. So if you sold 2 wholesale at 36, 2 retail at 54, that's $9,000 a month right there. That's $108,000 a year. It's over 100 grand in a year. The big one is auctions. We teach you how to conduct online auctions. And our average student at week number 8 to week number 12, it varies from person to person, but somewhere between week number 8 to week number 12 after you enroll in the course, so you haven't even studied yet from enrollment date, typically will have their first auction, and they'll only have about 3 to 5 units in that auction. It's a very small one because it's your first one. But the advantage is they all sell on the same day. And your average commission when you auction equipment tends to run between $1,200 to $2,000. And again, you'll occasionally have a unit, you might only make $800. You'll occasionally have a unit, you make $4,000 or $5,000. Day in, day out averages, $1,200 to $2,000. If you only have 3 units sell in that first auction and they were all at $1,200, that's $3,600 in a day from that auction. $3,600 plus 9, that's $12,600. Times 12 months, that's $151,000 a year. Most of our students, once you're implementing and consistently following our training and our course, after about the 2nd or 3rd auction, you should have somewhere between 7 to 15 units in your auction every 4 to 5 weeks. If you only have 7 every 4 to 5 weeks, that's almost $10,000 a month just by itself. Now maybe you only have 1 wholesale and 1 retail, or 2 here and 1 here, or 3 here and 0 here. You can fluctuate because this is feeding a continuous large cash flow for you and your company and your family. The beautiful thing about brokering and auctioning equipment, it's an incredibly low cost industry. You're not buying any equipment. You never buy equipment. You're simply consigning it and selling it for your clients. That way, you have no location costs. This is a home-based business. The majority of the time, you're in your vehicle meeting with clients where they are. So it's an incredibly low cost, low risk business. And as I mentioned before, no experience. You do not need to be an equipment operator. You don't need to be a mechanic. You never want to be one. You are just bringing the buyer and the seller together, and we teach you and train you how to do that. In fact, we also teach you how to inspect the equipment, how to value the equipment, how to photograph the equipment, how to get the buyers to call you, where to find the buyers, where to find the sellers. We have printed material, training course on our training site, as well as video tutorials to walk you through step by step the process and the program that I use to sell over 4,000 pieces of equipment using the program that we teach you. As well as all the downloadable forms, consignment agreements, inspection reports, waivers, liability waivers, bills of sale, invoices. You don't have to do anything except download it, put your name in it, and print it and start using it. We even have a 3-step referral process that is amazing for generating referrals. And what to say to the buyer and the seller, you can just follow our scripts. If you're not sure what to say, just read our scripts to them word for word. Obviously, if you're in front of somebody, you want to memorize that script, you don't just want to read it to them. It's not an emotional sale. So I'm going to go back to real estate real quick. When the average home buyer, when they go look at a house, they're going to look at 10, 12, 15, maybe 20 houses before they fall in love with that perfect home to make an offer on it. And the reason is it's a very emotional sale. It's also 2 people making that decision, the husband and the wife, and one could love it and one could hate it. Selling equipment is a completely different ballpark. It's a business decision. The buyer just wants to make sure the unit is capable of doing what he needs it to do, and the price is fair for its age and its condition. If those are met, he's going to buy it. And he wants to buy the first one he finds. He doesn't want to go look at a dozen dozers. He's hoping the very first dozer he goes and looks at is the one that he wants so he can go back to work and run his company. So it's a non-emotional buying process. It's also a non-manipulative buying process. You never need to manipulate. So if you don't have a lot of sales experience, heck, if you don't have any sales experience, that's okay. The key to being successful at brokering and auctioning used heavy equipment, just be a natural human being. Be yourself. Don't try to be salesman-y. Don't try to be over the top. Your buyers and your sellers, what they really want to deal with is just a normal average guy. If you can do that, and you know how to find the buyers and find the sellers, and our course teaches you how to do both of those, you'll be very successful. Since it is a business-to-business industry, it's pretty much Monday through Friday daylight hours. Now, if you're going to have to start part-time, you can work weekends. You just don't have to. This industry has no expectation that you would work weekends, but if you want to work weekends, you sure can. It's hard to work evenings though, because people cannot typically see a unit in the evenings when it's dark. So it is a daylight hour type of industry. And again, no manipulation. Your average seller will consign 3.5 pieces of equipment with you. So when you get your first 100 units consigned, and that might seem like a lot, but once I explain this, you'll realize it's really not. When you have your first 100 units consigned, you will have about 27 clients, because your average client is going to list 3.5 pieces of equipment with you. And the beautiful thing is, over a third of your clients will continuously list and relist more and more equipment, just keep feeding you equipment all year long. And about a third of your clients, you sell the one unit, they don't have anything else, and you won't see them for a couple years. And then you'll have another third that's kind of sporadic right in the middle of there. So if you're looking to make a change in your life, have an opportunity to earn over $100,000 a year, following a proven plug-and-play step-by-step system, brokering and auctioning used heavy equipment could definitely be the solution that you've been looking for. If what you're doing and what you've been doing has not been getting you where you want to go, then it's time to make a change. The only way to change your future is to make a change in the present. And if you continue to do what you're getting and doing, you're going to continue to get what you've got. Next year will be the same as it was last year. So I'd invite you, as you can see below, the price for our course is extremely fair, and we intentionally designed it to be fair because I really wanted to make this an opportunity for the average guy. Heck, you could go to the garage, grab one or two things, sell it on Craigslist this weekend, pay for your course. I want the average guy to have an opportunity to earn legitimately over $150,000 a year. It does require work, it does require effort. It's not a get rich quick. It's not a magic blue pill. You get what you put into it. Our course will teach you how to do it. If you're good at following instructions and have a good work ethic, you're really the only person that's going to decide whether you do well or not in this industry. I appreciate your time, and I wish you the best of luck in your future.